You're listening to Tangents and Tomes, a podcast where two old friends get together to read, review, and rant about books. If you're driving while listening, keep your eyes on the road. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, listeners. Welcome back. Do you want to talk about what we're talking about today?
So today we'll be talking about Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, the movie.
The film with Emma Watson, Ewan McGregor, Dan Stevens, Hattie Morahan, and Calvin Klein, and Josh Gad, and Luke Evans.
Wow, I was not expecting this.
Ian McKellen, Emma Thompson. Yeah.
It is like a 2017 film, not 2016.
What's funny is I remember, like a couple years ago when things would be due out for 2017, I was like, God, you mean when we have hover cars? And now it's 2017. And
that's because it's so long from now.
And then there are other films that I'm hearing about that are going to come out in like 2018 or 2019. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, the thing is...
Will we still be alive then?
Yeah. I'm like, daylight's burning. I'm getting older. You can't keep postponing all these films, okay?
I went down and visited some of the boyfriend's family in Berkeley, and it was so pretty, and everything was in bloom, and everything smelled wonderful.
Speaking of smells, I was moving my stuff into the room so that we could do this, right? And for some reason I was like, wow, what smells really good? Like, something smells like the perfume. And I was like, is it on? Do I have one of those little perfume tabs that we sprayed in one of my notebooks or something?
Oh, yeah.
It was me! Because I put it on my arm, right? And I guess my arm was right by my head when I was fixing things or something. And
coming into the room and you were like, wow.
It's still on me! It smells fab, though.
I know, I've been wearing that La Fleur from Body Works. Or no.
Bath and Body Works.
I always want to call it Bed Bath and Beyond. Which is just wrong. There's those 3 stores. There's like
Body Works.
Bed Bath and Beyond. There's
Bath and Body Works, Bed Bath and Beyond, and The Body Shop.
And yes. And it's like
that's the
they
last
all got all the body in there and bath. I always get them wrong.
Except Bed Bath and Beyond does not have body in it. They all just have bees.
Stop. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't bring your logic here.
Anyways, all that preparation I did for our last podcast.
Yeah.
That didn't happen this time.
Good.
Like,
solid.
Unless you count going to see the movie 2 times, that's all the preparation I really did. I did not, do any research or anything.
Hey, it's one more time than I did. Because I saw this movie like 2 weeks ago or something, so.
I haven't been to class in a while. And the thing is, though, that I was like checking in on the kind of online forum where she posts stuff, and then she posts the lecture, like, PowerPoints and the worksheets and stuff. So I had been reading those, and it was more kind of about thinking graphic design rather than actually teaching me all of the tools or all of the kind of artistic things you can do with. Anyway, so like I had been looking at that, and it is just teaching me how to use the tools. Oh, that sounds contradictory. God, this is so...
Yeah. It's the tools themselves rather than, like, practical applications for what you want to be doing.
I guess. I don't know. It's just like...
Yeah.
It's like I'm learning how to use the text tool. And it's like, okay, all right. Now I can figure out how to type in a circle. Sweet. But then there was this person who was showing me how to punch out a shape from another shape. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I had to just put another layer.
Oh, yeah.
But it turns out, no. Like,
you can, like, cut.
Why didn't I know this? It's so super simple, and I had been looking for this for the whole time, and I just figured, oh, maybe they don't do that.
Yeah.
They just put another layer on top to create that hole. But no. So, that kind of thing. Anyways, I don't know. And no, I haven't been to class in a while, and actually, I think they kicked me out of the class because I can't get onto the forum anymore.
Oh, no.
It might be a mistake, but at the same time, I'm too scared to do anything about it. Because I've missed so much class. So, Beauty and the Beast.
Yes,
now that we've spent like 10 minutes not getting on topic. Thoughts? Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. What are your thoughts? First impressions, comments, thoughts, concerns.
No spoilers yet. I liked it.
Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah, it was like really fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, I had always I started crying, you know, like minute 1 because
Oh yeah, no.
started playing and I was like, my childhood. I started getting too many feels and I was like, this is so beautiful. Look at the sunrise. It's so pretty.
I was never like a big Beauty and the Beast fan. Like it wasn't a particular Disney animation that really spoke to me.
Yeah.
It's not like part of my childhood. Like so many people are like, oh, it's always my favorite because of reasons or something. I didn't have that kind of connection to it. And then also when I went into it, like, of course I was expecting the sets to be beautiful and the costumes to be beautiful, and just high quality production. But it was actually like cinematically just well crafted.
Yeah.
In
So
terms of
pretty.
like storyline and drawing together themes, the music, like, of course the music was good, right? Because we already know what the music was going to sound like, but it got better, you know, and it got a little bit more meaty, you know, like a real Broadway musical would do, where you kind of start to hear all the resident melodies coming together into different parts, and you see where these recurring threads are throughout the story and how they're all connecting, but in different ways. So like the whole like, oh man, okay, can we talk about Days in the Sun? Wait, these are spoilers, never mind. But Days in the Sun is something to watch out for.
It was
basically.
So
good. But yeah, it was smarter and kind of had more depth to it than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I was unaware of the cast going in, totally blind.
Oh.
I had not done my research. I knew that it was like Emma Watson being Belle, and that was it, pretty much. So,
well, I'm like a big Dan Stevens fan because he was Edward Ferrars in Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, but like seeing Audra McDonald and she started
oh my
singing,
God,
and I'm like, she has the most beautiful voice. I love her so much. Like, oh my God, she is just so amazing at everything she does. And hearing her sing, I was just like, she's in it. And then she was, oh my God. Oh my God, I love her.
Can you tell me if I'm wrong, but I almost kind of felt like Audra McDonald, like all the parts that she sang, that like that didn't exist in the original one.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, did her songs were they just taken from the animated, or I kind of feel like, you know, they were like, oh, I mean, we got Audra McDonald, we have to do something cool. And so they wrote in bits. But I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with the original.
I'm not either. Like, I watched the cartoon movie a bunch, but I wonder, I haven't seen the musical really, because there's the like the stage musical version of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, but the stage musical version, apparently they only added one song.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure
different.
Yeah, how much they added, or if there was anything that they took from that they put into the movie. I am completely unaware
from that.
Yeah.
I think they were just bouncing right off of the animation.
Yeah. Well, and Days in the Sun, that song, I don't believe was in the original.
No, it wasn't. Like, Evermore is like the big addition, but then it's like, actually there were a bunch of songs that were new. Yeah. Days in the Sun, A Moment Lasts a Lifetime, A Moment Lasts Forever, or something like that. That one that her... Anyways, we'll talk about those ones when we can. Yeah. Without getting...
Yeah. No, I don't think Audra McDonald's character was really in the original.
Because the wardrobe was. I just mostly am thinking of, like, the times that she was singing.
I didn't remember the wardrobe. So. There were some good jokes. Some good laughs.
There were some good jokes. But we can't talk about them.
I know. Okay, but so, you know, stars, like 4 out of 5 for me personally, maybe 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed myself. I don't know what I expected.
I didn't know we were going to be starring. I'm so
I know.
prepared for this. I don't know. I mean, when I came out of it, I was like euphoric. It was fucking amazing. So you know how like just yesterday I was texting you about star ratings and so on. They're just really hard to do because the thing is that
can you ever give anything a 5?
Yeah.
What if you find something that's
better? Do you withhold that
better?
5 stars or do you? Yeah. So. But the thing is that, like, I feel like maybe with films, I'm more willing to be like, yes, this was a 5. Like, with Decoy Bride, you know, it's not gonna win awards, but it is a damn fine film. Like, I love that film. So, it gets a 5.
Yeah.
Just because it's so good. Like, it's just a solid, well-rounded film that's just fun for every fucking one. So, it's a 5. So with Beauty and the Beast, I'd say that's a 5, because I came out of it feeling so good.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know if anything can ever beat, you know, how I felt coming out of The Force Awakens. I was just, like...
It was a good time.
Yeah. I was just all grins.
No frowns. No frown time here. Yeah, I really liked the film. I'm really glad that I saw it. I want to see it again. I don't know if I want to pay the money to see it in a theater, but I want to see it again. And I hope you want some spoilers? You want to get into those deets? You took some notes in the theater in the dark.
Okay, yeah. I took some notes in the theater, and I haven't read them since. And the thing is that, you know, in the dark, I'm writing, and it's hard to see. So
we'll do a little detective work.
Yep.
Right here, right now. As we get into... Are you trying to read your handwriting?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, it looks like I wrote over some sentence. Like, there's some overlapping with the letters.
Okay, this is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Cool. Spoilers starting now. Let's go.
Woo! Okay. So, Days in the Sun was just... Oh, and I didn't say this in the non-spoilery section, but maybe it could have gone there. But like, just, I already told Kalinda this, but like, the movie was sad, okay? Like, I went in, the first time I saw it, I went in already, like, I don't know what it was, but it was kind of like that Dane Cook skit, where you wake up one day and you realize, I'm gonna cry. Like, you just need a good cry, and there's nothing that happened, but... It's just something that sits on your shoulder and you're trying to keep it together, but you know it's just inevitable. So I had woken up from a nap before going to see the movie, and it was for some reason, like, I was just already, like, on the edge of that, you know, tear waterfall. So I get into the theater, an advertisement for Wonder Woman starts, and I am just so overcome by how amazing this movie for Wonder Woman looks, because I'm like, oh my god, it's a female superhero! And then I just feel so, like, elated and excited, and I start crying. And then
she's powerful
another
and beautiful,
movie trailer.
and I want to be her.
I know, she's so amazing. Like, I'm not even into, like, superheroes.
I mean, she's just stunning.
Marvel, and then this was starting, and, like, they do the whole... And it takes place not in present day, right? It takes place in the 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. I know
sometime
my history. And then, like, she's on this... But then it's all, like, Athenian war, matriarchy stuff going on, and I'm like, oh, she's so badass, and, like, yeah. And she's just such... Yeah! And I was so into it, and I was crying. And then a trailer for Coco happened. And even the trailer, it kind of felt like two different movies, because on the one hand, it's this kid who, like, plays guitar, and he idolizes this one, like, Spanish film star who plays the guitar. And then on the other, you have something about, like, the Day of the Dead, or crossing over into this other world of the dead, and you're like, wait, what story am I in? But either way, I cried, because it looks amazing. It's like the new animated Pixar, DreamWorks. It's high quality animation. I don't know who's making it, sorry. But Coco looks amazing, and I was crying, like, just at the trailer, because it's it's a little boy who idolizes his hero, and it's like, so sad. So then the movie starts, and that music that you were talking about, the da 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 da, yeah,
Yes.
and I'm crying.
Yes.
It's done. I'm already in tears, and my sister's right next to me, and my sister is kind of like, dead inside always. So I'm kind of like super self-conscious of like, oh my god, what if she looks over and she's gonna totally laugh her ass off at me, not with me. So I was like, keep it inside. Try to keep it inside, because
Keep it together.
because yeah, exactly. Because I was already starting to sniffle quite loudly.
Oh my gosh. There were so many times where I was getting ready to, like, bawl, and I am in the theater with my boyfriend's, like, 2 sisters. And I'm like, no, I can't cry. I can't, I have to be the old like, no, I can't cry in front of them.
Dude,
But I was
totally
just ready
feel that
to, like,
pressure
literal sob.
of like, I have to be the cool one because I'm older. It's like,
Right.
it's so sad.
I'm supposed to be the adult that has my life together. I can't
Exactly.
be tearing up about a film with these people.
About a teacup.
Chip.
Okay, so getting right into the meat of it. The part that made me, because like, of course I was crying just at the beginning, like during the whole like prologue thing, and
then Anja starts singing, and of course I'm like, I love you.
yeah, and I mean the thing is, you're crying at the prologue, but the prologue is so camp, like. Dan Stevens is like really hamming it up. And the thing is, when he's in the Beast CGI stuff, it's all, it's a CGI Beast. Of course, he's got to ham it up so that they can really, work with it. But when he's in human form, you start to realize, like, wow, this is camp AF. And just like, and I mean, Revolution era France was super camp.
Yeah.
So it fits. But it's like, why am I crying right now? Like, this is supposed to almost be a joke.
Yeah,
so,
like, this is ridiculous.
Anyways, but the real, like, gets you good thing for me that, like, was just the most heartbreaking was, and it was new. What?
The library? Because that really got me.
No, not at all. You're gonna, once I say this, you're gonna be like, oh, how could I have ever thought the library? Of course. Okay. What it is, though, this was a new scene to the thing. I swear this is not in the animation. There's no way it could be, because it's like too real. When all of the characters start becoming objects and they're all outside the castle, and it's like the first time we see them outside the castle at all.
Yeah.
And they're all outside the castle, and just one by one they have to watch each other disappear. Like, and I'm just, even just thinking about it, I could start crying, because just like the thought, like, it doesn't all happen for them all at once, like in a snap second. They all have to watch it happen, and Cadenza and Signor Cadenza and his what's the wardrobe's name? Audra
I don't know.
Anyways, their whole story where, like, they were separated for all those years because they couldn't be on the same floor, and then one of them goes, and then the other one is like, no, stay with me, and it's just like they have to watch it happen, and like Lumiere is the last one to go, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, or the fucking Mrs. Potts.
Oh,
when that, honestly, Mrs. Potts, like the fact that she goes before she can even find her son.
Yeah. She
goes in the throes of panic looking for her son. Like, that is so sad.
Yeah.
I have to keep it together. It's happening. Ooh,
it's so funny. When I was watching that didn't hit me the way I sort of had the feeling like I knew this scene should, because the whole time I was like, okay, but they have to come back because we can't, this isn't how it ends.
Well, I mean, I knew that wasn't how it was going to end, but it's still just going through that.
Yeah.
It's so tragic.
I seriously, like, really started tearing up, though, when she walks into the library and sees all of those books. Because,
Okay.
you know, the big library for her was, like, you know, like 10 or 15 books or something at the most. At this guy's, you know, it's just like his house or something, and that's,
no,
the
he's
books
like
he
the
has.
chaplain, basically.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense to me because, like, basically, if you were a scholar throughout history, pretty much, if you were a scholar, you were a man of the cloth or something.
Yeah.
Because, and so I'm just kind of thinking, sometimes I think about, like, oh, if I was born in a different century, I would probably be a nun. Because basically, if you wanted to be a nerd about anything, you had to be into the Bible. And that was what you hardcore nerded out about.
Yeah.
So like, but I really appreciate that they recognize, like, how much of a luxury books were.
Yeah.
And that a small town like they were trying to paint the village as would not have, like, a large library like that.
Yeah.
It would be really hard to come by books.
But she, like, treasures those, like, 10 or 20 books so much. And so it's just, my heart, like, exploded when she went into that huge library, and she was just, like, these, like, are you serious? I can read any of these? They were really cute.
Like, as a two.
Yeah, their characters. I liked the Beast as more than just sort of anger, but also, like, this, like, petulance, and getting to see that break more and more was, like, really great. I don't know, I always felt in the original that the Beast didn't have too much personality. It was just that, oh, he's mean on the outside, kind on the inside, like, okay. But I felt they gave him real character in the movie, and I really appreciated that. With the horse.
Oh,
no?
yeah. Yeah,
that was good. There was a joke in Be Our Guest, in the Be Our Guest song, that
also camp as fuck. Yeah.
I don't know if this was in the original. So, someone was like, wasn't that in the original or not? But he's saying, you know, of course we're the French, and then there's, like, almost like this guillotine moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like audibly gasped in the audience, and my hands went to my face. I was like, oh my god, like, that really just happened? And it was like no one else around me seemed to notice, and I was like, are we serious right now?
Oh.
I remember just thinking, like, that's so dark. In such an otherwise lighthearted thing, it was like this slap, and I was like, oh my god.
Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if that was in the original.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are lots of little nods like that in it. But kind of, like, just because you mentioned that, like, there are, for me, one of the things, especially the first time, that really struck me was how much they really, like, rooted this story into, like, French themes of the time. Yeah. And, like, it didn't feel like an exact retelling of the French Revolution, but, like, it was clearly kind of showing how those themes permeated life. You know, these ideas and concepts of freedom, of escape, of intelligence, and like beauty, but how beauty is also tied to kind of like this life of luxury.
Yeah.
And I don't know and these things are in the animated one, but it just didn't feel like as pulled together. Like, it didn't strike me as much, but, like, the whole deal with, how am I getting through this? But, like, knowledge, beauty, and freedom, and strength, like, how all those kinds of things come together, and also anger, because the thing is that, like, so many of the characters, I mean, this is what good foils do, but so many of the characters show you anger, but in so many different forms. Like, anger that's born of fear, or anger that's born of resentment, and how those are different. Or, like, how fear can lead to anger, and then from that is this mob mentality, and how that can all just escalate. Or, like, but then they don't shy away from it. They're not, like, hiding anything about it, because even when the mob is marching to the Beast, Gaston says something really, overt about how, like, this is the best because in times like these, somebody like me always thrives or something, you know, like that.
Oh, yeah.
This is what he lives for. And it's kind of interesting because, like, he's a captain, but the war's over, apparently, some war. And so that's probably one of the reasons why he is so, it's just kind of interesting to see that, like, in a time of war, a man like him was necessary and a hero, but in times of peace, he has to make war.
Yeah.
Because he's only good in that one situation.
Mm.
Also, just a kind of different theme, but, like, the theme of accountability. And I was really interested in how they kind of pulled out, like, why the household was punished at the same time, not just the beast, right? And that,
Yeah.
and then how that kind of falls in line with LeFou's character. Because if the household is basically being punished for standing by while bad people did bad things,
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing something about it, and LeFou is currently in that situation where he's letting Gaston get away with these horrible things, but even though he knows that they're bad, like, LeFou feels guilt for leaving Maurice out in the forest.
Yeah.
But then he lets it go. When he finds that Maurice is fine, he lies for Gaston.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the kind of thing where, and this also kind of reminds me of things that I'm thinking for a series of unfortunate events, because I'm reading that series.
Oh.
But one of the things with a series of unfortunate events that stands out so much for me is that, like, one of the themes is that these kids are in trouble, but the adults don't ever believe them.
Yeah.
And it's not because the adults are stupid or that the adults are mean or bad people, but the fact that they condescend to these children end up allowing Count Olaf to get away with all these horrible, horrible things.
Yeah.
Or they just let it happen. And that, like, these people who are supposed to be protecting the children fail to do so. And that, like, it's about, like, and we hate those people. Like, that, it's way worse than how I feel for Count Olaf, is these adults in their lives who never listen to them or believe them. And so, like, for me, it makes me feel way more angry at them. And so, like, kind of bringing in that level of accountability as being, like, important to remember.
Yeah.
Or an important lesson for us to learn, rather than just the whole, like, bad versus evil. And, like, oh, they're not a bad person, they could tell that it was wrong, and they weren't the one actually doing the bad thing, so we're gonna let them off, is not really okay, you know?
Mm.
And so, like, I'm really glad that LeFou didn't end up getting to that point. Because I was really scared, like, because I was like, I really want LeFou to make the right decision and then live happily ever after with his cross-dressing boyfriend. And the thing is also with Stanley, who ends up being the boyfriend, right? I knew as soon as I saw him in the song and dance sequence for Gaston, the song Gaston, he turns around, like, because he's part of, like, the Three Musketeers. I think one of the Beast's household members calls them third-rate Three Musketeers. Anyways, Josh Gad is singing the Gaston song, and it's at this point when he says something like, everyone's always on his team, or everyone's always batting for Gaston's team, right? And just the idea of, like, batting for a certain team just instantly drew that to mind, and that's exactly when the three of those guys turn around, and Stanley's face, something about Stanley's face, I was like, it's gonna be him.
Oh.
It's like, I know. I see you. It's him. Because I was constantly looking for, like, where's LeFou's boyfriend? Where is he?
It's funny. I did not feel like that was explained while watching that was a thing. I felt that they were claiming that there was representation when I did not feel it, because they made such a big stink about it online that LeFou was going to be gay, and I was like, you know, watching it, it's not like that's ever explained or that's ever stated. It did not
Wait,
feel like...
you didn't really think that it was clear that LeFou had a huge crush on Gaston?
Yeah. I thought that it could very easily have read to people like there was nothing there.
I mean, even in the animated version, it's pretty clear. Like, and
I know.
And I think that it was just because they made it live action and it wasn't an animated, I don't know, pincushion. Because if you look at the animation for LeFou, he's like, you know, he's got that bubble nose. It's not even a real nose.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a real character at all. But like, when you do live action, LeFou has to be a real character. And then you have to acknowledge that all the things that LeFou did in the animated version was like, he gay.
It just feels like one of those forced representation moments.
Except that, like,
because I think if they really did want to make his character gay, they could have done a way better job at like showing that in the film. It's like one of those like it felt like one of those post moments where they have to tell you that his character is this way in order for like outside of the film itself, in order for you to get that. But maybe that's just me.
That's just you. In my opinion, obviously I went into it knowing that, but like...
I went into it knowing it.
Yeah, I know.
I read all of the articles before.
I know. And that's the other thing about them making a stink of it, is that like, it's weird because we're talking about something where like, it's enough of a big deal that it was outlawed in certain towns, that like people boycotted it. But it's also not enough that people are saying like, yo, this wasn't enough of representation. It doesn't feel, you know, like a good enough representation. Don't give us half-assed representation or something. But I mean, it was actually pretty good. And the big stink about it is everyone, I don't know. I feel like
I'm more just
I feel like it was fine.
I'm more just wondering that like, if they had not said anything before the movie came out, would it have even been outlawed?
It wouldn't have been outlawed, I don't think.
No, because they wouldn't have been able to actually recognize it from the movie itself. I don't think that the movie itself did enough to support the conclusion.
If you really don't believe gay people are real people, then you wouldn't be looking for it. But I would have been able to tell, okay? Well, there are plenty of people who would have been able to tell. I mean, for F's sake, like, it's not even subtle. But I think that the thing is that, like, if you're really determined to believe that you don't exist in a world with homosexuality, then you're gonna gloss over it. Just like people did in, you know, the 90s when it originally came out. Because LeFou just canonically is gay for Gaston, okay? So, like, there's no way... Yeah, I just think it is super obvious. And, like, you know the part that I'm talking about where the wardrobe basically, like...
I loved that.
Yeah, the wardrobe bombs the Three Musketeers with clothes and makes them dress up like women, and then Stanley turns around with a giant grin on his face.
I loved it so much. I thought that was so good.
Then she yells... Free! Yeah, she yells, "Be free, be free, be free!" And the thing is that, like, that's, first of all, that's tying into the whole escape theme. The idea of liberty versus, like, I don't know, oppression, right?
Yeah.
It's all tied in there. And, like, LeFou, I love that. Okay, I think it's super funny when Gaston says something like, "Why has no, you know, lady, you know, married you yet?" And LeFou says something like, "I'm told I'm clingy, but I really don't get it." And the thing is, I love that line because it's so ambiguous, because you're, like, kind of thinking... Because LeFou keeps looking at Gaston like he knows he's just totally lied. Yeah. Because he knows that that's exactly not why he's single. But he just isn't going to tell Gaston that he doesn't like women. So I thought the representation was fine. And I mean, it's not a gay movie. It's not about representing or trying to tell a story about gay people. No, it just has it happening. Yeah, it's about bestiality. It's not about homosexuality.
Okay, but wait. The moment at the very end where he goddamn growls.
Oh
Like-
yeah, okay, that was too much. I feel weird about that.
Think you could grow a beard, and he just goes like, like full beast comes out of his mouth, and I'm like, how? Like, yes, that's funny, but also like, oh my god, what just happened?
Yeah,
Ugh.
it made me feel weird inside. But
Oh my gosh. I
okay,
loved it. It
so
was so good.
concept design
Mhm.
was spectacular.
Yeah.
I love her new dress. I love
Yeah.
I love the set design. The castle is just
Yeah,
amazeballs.
I thought it was really good.
And like, okay, the other thing is that in Rococo France
Mhm.
and in expensive, castles like that, I love how they did the lighting because yes, gold would have been flippin' everywhere, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't be like gold the way we are used to seeing it. It would have been gold in candlelight, which would feel like this kind of like sparkly dim cave. It was
Yeah.
perfect. And I love
Yeah.
that they managed to, show it like that rather than like in the animated version. Of course, you're not going to have awesome lighting like that.
Yeah.
And so everything just looked, yellow.
Yeah.
Everything was just a bright yellow color.
Yeah.
Whereas like in this, like I was like, yes, this totally gives me the mood of
Yeah.
what that architecture was supposed to look like,
Yeah, the way that it sparkles and yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so then, though, her yellow dress, I have some complaints.
Oh.
Because it's completely the wrong material. And it's completely the wrong style. But I guess it is kind of tricky with things like that because I did remember reading some kind of interview excerpt from about the dress. And that more than anything, I think they were going with the way that it would flow while she was dancing. And that was more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And it did succeed with like the nice light and fluffy flowiness that you probably wouldn't have gotten with what the original dress is actually supposed to look like or what the style of the time would have been like.
Yeah.
But it's just so anachronistic because it looks like it's made out of polyester. It's cut in this kind of like three-tiered thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not right at all. And then the way the bodice is just so modern. I'm like, what the heck? It's just the wrong material, really. It shouldn't have been that material.
Yeah.
And the yellow is so garish because you would never be able to get a yellow dye like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that
But
like
it's the one from the animated.
They needed to make it look like the color of the animated one, but
yeah.
In the animated one, it's yellow, but that's only, I feel like it's because they wanted it to be like gold-ish, but that's hard. Gold is not really something you can do in RGB.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, not really.
Anyways, those are my thoughts on the dress. I loved the castle, and it wasn't until the second one that I realized like all the different ways that the castle is shown crumbling.
Yeah.
Because like you hear the bangs and stuff and you know that it's crumbling, but like when she first walks into that open foyer in the castle and there are all these columns and they're like wrapped in this stone carved lays design. It's really pretty. And actually those lays are covering almost like the whole thing, and I think it's so great. So cool. A+ design. A++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++ But some of those columns are like broken.
Yeah.
And you can see them all crumbling, and it was like, oh my god, that half looks like, whoever made the castle was going for that, and then also looks like the house is crumbling.
Yeah.
And I was almost kind of wondering about the lays that I was talking about, like curling up everything and covering a lot of things. I was wondering if that was supposed to be part of the magical destruction of the castle. Like, as if, you know, it was being grown over.
Yeah.
But it was still made of carved stone.
Yeah. I
couldn't tell. I was trying to see if, like, after the curse is lifted, whether or not those things were removed, but I don't think I couldn't tell. Because then the only thing we see of the castle is, like, the ballroom. But,
yeah,
it was dope. The whole thing. Super pretty.
So pretty.
Castle was dope.
Even just literal, like, sunsets and sunrises were just gorgeous.
Oh, and did you kind of feel like, you know, a little homage to The Sound of Music when she gets up on that hill?
So weird.
Yeah. It was... Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird moment. I'm like, why is this happening? She went out, well, because she was in the town, and then you see the town from far away, and I'm like, that would have taken so long to get over there.
Yeah, only until the second, like, time I watched it did I realize, like, how far away from the town she is. But I do like that little segment of her song. And I think that, for me, what that little segment just constantly makes me think about is the fact that this story is, like, she rescues the beast and, like, she saves all the people in the castle by being herself. You know, that, like, who she is as a person is enough to save people.
Yeah.
I think that's really cute.
Wow. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's so pretty. It's so beautiful. Ugh. Yeah, so Gaston's character, I always felt was one of the scarier, like, Disney quote-unquote villains.
Yeah, same.
Because he's real.
Yeah, I know him.
Because he totally exists. That's what people do. Those are real people that are, you know, misogynistic, sexist, want, you know, total alpha male. They want what they want. And then when they don't get it, throwing the tantrum and, like, getting violent. And I was like, that character is always just so scary. Because it's real.
Okay. So, like, but the thing is that what they did with Gaston is that he clearly has issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, that doesn't excuse anything that he's done, right? No. We still are like, he's a shit. He's a piece of shit. So, but he clearly has real anger management issues. Yeah. And I actually think that, like, I had told you this before, but, like, then I was really looking out for it the second time I saw it. But he alludes to having been in an asylum. And
tell me more.
Because when he calls in, you know, the guy to take Maurice, he's like, this guy is raving mad. He needs to be sent to an insane asylum. And like, you know, everyone's like, yeah, put him in an insane asylum and he'll get help or something. But Gaston's the one who goes up to Maurice and says something like, do you know what it's like inside? You won't last a week.
Oh.
And it makes me think that Gaston has been committed before.
Or at the very least, had maybe a family or something that was committed. If he could, well, if you had someone in your family committed, would you be able to go visit them?
You wouldn't see them again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't want to say absolutely, but I just feel like typically you wouldn't even go to visit.
Well, would you ever get out though?
No, I don't think so.
So how would Gaston have gotten out if he was in it?
No, I mean, like, I guess
that is the one thing.
I shouldn't have said that, because I guess you would get out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I do like that theory.
Yeah. And it makes sense, though, because he is off kilter just a little bit, you know?
Oh, yeah. He definitely is. He has such little control over his anger and all of that.
I really wanted, the first time I saw it, I was, like, thinking that the Beast, because, like, the villagers all start, like, they all realize they know people from the castle.
Yeah.
They start to remember people. And for me, that's kind of like, oh my god, the village was cursed too. Like, the
Yeah.
castle is cursed, the village is cursed to be separated from
Yeah.
the people in the castle. And I kept on kind of thinking that it was going to turn out that the beast would recognize Gaston.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that that would have been perfect. Because if we go with the storyline that the beast was a young boy and then his mother died and then his father, had this negative influence on him. As, like a prince, he would have known military officers and Gaston being a captain. And the idea that, like, in the beast's prior life, he had similar values that Gaston had of vanity and getting what he wants and not appreciating anything unless it's beautiful or something, anger management. That I just kept thinking that, like, and it didn't have to be any, like, deep involved story, but I just figured that, like, when Gaston appeared to the beast, when the beast is all morose and depressed because Belle is gone, he's like, just kill me already. I thought the beast was gonna, like, turn around and be like, Gaston? Oh, whatever, just kill me already, Like,
yeah.
I thought that there was gonna be just some kind of little hint, because it would have made total sense to me if Gaston and him had been kind of like schoolboy buddies. Maybe not schoolboys, because the beast didn't go to school. He probably had private tutors. But like adolescent buddies.
Yeah. All right. Do you have more? We should probably wrap it up soon.
I haven't even looked at I looked at my notes. Oh, okay.
What does that say?
Just Romeo and Juliet roses. I forget why I said that. Probably because of all the roses. The fact that her favorite Shakespeare play is Romeo and Juliet, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then the prevalence of roses and shit because of a rose by any other name. I'm trying to think of why I thought that that was smart. Probably because the beast doesn't have a name? I'm not sure. I don't know what I was thinking. A lot of these are just like random notes that I probably should have read right after so that I could elaborate more, because these aren't really doing a whole lot for me. Action and inaction. We talked about that. Childhood. Phantom of the Opera. Okay, so...
Oh, song?
No. Well, Evermore. First of all, Evermore just reeked of Phantom of the Opera, in my opinion. But also, I think that the original... Or, like, there's some film that I believe is either Beauty and the Beast or Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera, this is from, like, a film from, like, the early 1900s. That Phantom of the Opera with Emmy Rossum and Gerard Butler, it kind of riffed off with the lamp stands being arms out of the wall,
Oh.
The little torch stands.
Yeah.
Are like these metal arms. That was something that was first seen in this French film of I think Phantom of the Opera. I'm not sure, but they did a little homage to it. Or maybe it was Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. The thing is that Phantom of the Opera is like a kind of Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Oh, yeah.
So it made sense. And so the little arm thing. I meant to do research about it, honestly. But that was cool. So there were a few homages to these French Phantom of the Opera things. Parts of the castle are falling apart. Why did I think that that was smart?
That's just a fact.
That's just a fact. Oh, yeah. Okay, so another thing. I don't know if this was how the original animated one was, but they made Cogsworth... Because, like, wait, Lumiere... I feel like Lumiere is, like, a valet or something.
Yeah.
And Cogsworth is the butler.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
And so, although I'm not sure, I feel like Lumiere does, like, a lot. Like, one of the things about Lumiere being the last one to make it, and, like, why that choice, And I know that Lumiere is like just, we see a lot of him, especially in the original animated one. Lumiere and Cogsworth are like the most important, other than like, and then there's Mrs. Potts, right? But like, why is Lumiere the last one to turn into a solid object? And it like really made me sad, that scene. Anyways, but because like Lumiere is the last one to go, it also kind of makes me remember that Lumiere is the one who does the most to fix the curse.
Yeah.
Like, Cogsworth is too scared to do anything about it, and everyone else doesn't have the same level of agency that Lumiere exerts in order to take a last stand at trying to fix the curse.
Yeah.
So it's just like really sad that he has to watch them all go when he's been fighting so hard.
Yeah.
But Cogsworth, which I don't know if it's like this in the animated one, but the second time I saw the movie, the whole time I was trying to figure out what was on his clock, because there's kind of like a little ornate design, and it's a cannon and flags and basically war paraphernalia, but like in a pile. And that then when you see Cogsworth as like a normal human, he has all these medallions, so he's clearly a war veterinarian.
Yeah.
A war veteran. And shoot, I'm so embarrassed.
I literally didn't even catch that because I just said, yeah.
And I was kind of wondering if like first of all, it just makes sense because clearly there's been a war because Gaston was in a war.
Yeah.
But also just the prevalence of war in this world. The fact that we keep seeing mentions of it, right?
Yeah.
I think is interesting, and I'm actually not entirely sure when Beauty and the Beast is meant to take place, if it's after the Revolution or before it. Or, I mean, also the thing is that the curse is an extended period of time, so like, did the Revolution happen while the curse was still, there? Or
but
what?
There was some plague. I don't know where that lines up with any of the history, but
I mean, it might have just been the plague.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just always love that music.
Days in the Sun, though, is still, like, the best. And it's a new one, but it's the best.
Well, thanks for listening to this special movie edition podcast.
It doesn't have to be special unless we want it to be. We can do other movies.
It feels special because it's the first one.
Okay.
I would love to do other movies.
We should totally do other movies.
maybe the next time I'll also try to take notes in the theater. write down some scribbly.
Or I mean, it doesn't have to be in theater films. We can.
Oh yeah.
Like old ones.
Yeah. Oh gosh, now I'm just thinking of all my favorite movies. Okay, this is gonna open up a whole other can of worms.
Okay, we are not watching The Dark Crystal, okay? This is a joke with yourself. I have no idea what's going on.
It's from The Dark Crystal. That's all you need to know.
But
there's nothing else to know. That's it. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be back again, hopefully soon, with another podcast.
Bye.
Okay, yeah, I'm Kalinda.
Jesus. Okay. What? Well, I'm just trying to end it. So wait, so your ending was like really dragging.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I know I'm bad at these.
I know. One of the things that I actually really appreciate, especially on like YouTube videos, is when I see that they don't have some outro. They just
go bye and then
they just end it. Really
They're
kind
magic,
of like,
okay?
Oh, I forgot that was possible.
They're
Thank
goddamn
God.
magic, okay? It's unreal. It's unrealistic, and I cannot. Okay, but I have to go clean a car, so I will. So
yeah, I gotta vacuum my house.
Oh, okay. Bye, Ivy.
Bye, Kalinda.
That's it for now. If you liked today's show, please give it a rating on iTunes or subscribe on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Tangents and Tomes, and if you have any questions, email us at tangentsandtomes@gmail.com.